10, I would have like breakfast. Then that was also an hour class. So then it ended at 11. And so my following class was not until 2. So I had like a pretty good break time. And so from there, since it was like the first semester, I wasn't really sure like what I should be doing. But as the year, like, or at least the semester progressed, I should say, I realized that okay, this is the time that I should be using to like study for. I took astronomy, so I was the classes started at 2. Like I should be studying for astronomy, I should be studying for stats, or I should be studying for my economics class. And for my economics class, that one was asynchronous. So like it was just here are the due dates, here's the assignments, here are your lectures, here are your readings, just work on it. So it was making sure that I don't forget about that one and setting like a schedule. Like okay, like this is when I'm gonna work on this. And so then when it finally came to 2, from 2 to 3 was my astronomy class. That one was also Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then afterwards, if I had anything left over that I did not finish for the day, then I would work on my economics class. And usually, like, I gave myself a schedule. I was like, okay, it's 6 o'clock now. I am not going to be stress myself out. For the first, like, maybe like 3 weeks, I would say, like, yeah, I was working past 6, but once I saw that I can handle the course load and was managing my time a lot better, I was like, okay, like I know what I can do. I don't want to stress myself out. Like especially like since everything was online, I was like, I can't just like focus on school because I had to like take care of your mental health. Like that's very important, making sure you're satisfied because you don't want that to bring your grades down in the long run, right? And oop, I don't know if you guys heard that. Um, then the following day on Tuesdays and Thursdays really is when I had my stats class or my data science class. And that class was from 12:30 to 1:45. That was my only class that day. So I was really relaxed and that's when I would also like make the effort to uptake on like notes and whatnot. But after that, like once I was free and I thought I was like I felt I was everything was online, it was not hard to like kind of get ahead. So I can at least say like I had my notes done for like a few like a class day or two. So I wasn't really stressing as much as I thought I would. And like that's why I feel like my first semester went pretty well. I will not lie though, I did get a C. I did get a C in my first semester. And it was a struggle because like it hurt. I get I worked really hard. Like in high school, I was like, I know I can do better. I can do better than this. Sorry, my dog's like right here outside on the table with me. Um, but getting that C, I was like, or at least when my grade was starting to like fall, I was like, it affected me. Like it really made me sad. I guess I want to say like I fell like into like a small depression, but like I had to like rationalize it to myself and think, like, look, like it was my data science class. Yes, you're not doing that great, but think about this is the only class you have to take. You don't have to take it again. Just pass it. You're doing the best you can. It's not like you're it's not like you're talking to the teachers, talking to the TAs, talking to the students. It's not like you're like making the extra effort. Like this is the best that you can do. This is the best you can do. And that's okay. And but just kind of like saying that it's okay to like it's okay to get a C. It's okay if you don't understand anything. It's like I don't know if I'm explaining this properly because it was just a lot at the time. Like yes, it affected my GPA, but I know that the bigger picture is like that's not what I plan to major in. I plan to major in accounting. This is nowhere near my degree, like my actual like major. So what am I what why should I be stressing about this that much? Like yes, I should be doing good, especially like since I have scholarships that I have to keep a certain GPA up, but it's not like I did that bad in like my other classes. Like I got two A's, no. Yeah, two A's, a B, and then my C. So it's just like, like this it's a give and take of that. And I was like, okay, like this is just something that I have to come to accept. It was really scary, especially like asking for help. Like I was really confident that I wouldn't be nervous about that, but it was kind of nerve-wracking like going in and talk to the teacher, like going to office hours, and like saying like, okay, I really don't know what's going on. Like it's one thing to like talk about it, like, oh yeah, I'll do it, but then can you actually go in there and like talk to your TAs, talk to your professor? And I thought I would be okay because data science was actually stats and coding, but I didn't. I totally forgot it was a coding. Once we were doing the math, I was like, I can do this. I can do this. Once they introduced coding, I was like, oh no. I don't know how to do this. This is something new. I was like, there's a reason why I left Talomos after first semester. I was out. Like, yeah, I it was like it was a lot. It was a lot. And it's like it was just again, like it's okay that you don't understand everything because you're not the only one there that doesn't understand. Like there's other kids there with you, and that's where you talk to the other kids and you ask like, okay, well, how'd you get this? And they explain it to you. I'm not gonna lie, there's times that like my friends really did help me out. Like they didn't give me the answers or anything, but like they really like explained it to me to where like, okay, at least I can get this homework done. Like, okay, like I understand at least a little bit this a little bit better now. And so it was just like those small bits and pieces that really just made a big difference. I know if I didn't make the effort to reach out to my professors and to the TAs and just like my friends in that class, I know it's just a C, but I don't think I would have passed that class because I didn't make the effort to reach out. So it's just don't be scared to reach out. It seems like, oh, whatever, it's not a big deal, but it really makes a difference when you're actually in a class like struggling. And it comes down to the next thing. Well, if you're struggling that bad, like it's okay to it's okay to drop a class. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Granted, don't drop every single class like you think that you're gonna have a issue with. But if you know, like because especially like right now, our current situation right now, we're in a pandemic. Um and we're not in the ideal situation to be learning, at least for a lot of students right now. Like it's okay if you have to like drop a class. And one of my friends, I she had to drop the class and it was a big thing for her, but like she's okay. She's like mentally in a better place now. You have like, because you have to remember, like, yes, you want to do good in school, but you also have to take care of yourself. And
Well, let's also mention, I know that I asked you to just go ahead and do your monologue there, but
yeah.
I also want to mention you only get so many drops in order to keep your
Yeah.
financial aid. So don't, I mean, like, I think it's 3 your entire
Yeah.
college career.
So like you have to like plan it out. Like you do have to plan it out.
You don't
Like
get to
don't I
drop just whenever. So you, after 3, they just remove your financial aid.
Yeah.
So now you have to pay for your entire schooling. So just be warned
That
about that.
that's what's really scary, like especially like about my grades. Like that's what makes like that what motivates me to make sure I do good, because it's crazy because there's kids that go in there like I go to McCombs. That's one of the most expensive tuitions at UT. This semester I'm taking 14 hours and I'm paying $6,640. I mean, granted, I'm like there with federal aid, right, and scholarships, but like that's a lot of money. And it's crazy to think that there's kids out there that are like, yeah, like it's not a big deal. Like when we have to pay our tuition bill, it's federal aid covered first, and then your scholarship money doesn't roll in until like the 12th day of class. So this first semester I owed like 1,400. Like that's what didn't get covered by my federal aid. And so I was like, how am I supposed to pay this? I was like panicking. And then I didn't know about it until like I had to like talk to my counselor, but you could take a tuition loan, and so that's how I paid for it. But like the thing is, like other kids were like, yeah, like I'll just cover it. Like I'll drop that 1,400. I was like, you guys can just whip it out like that. Like that's crazy. Um, but where was I gonna go with this? I lost my train of thought.
Well, do you want to just take some
But
questions and see what the students are interested in hearing about?
yeah, if
Okay.
any of you guys have questions right now,
Okay. Y'all can put something in the chat or you can unmute.
or is there anything you guys like want me to talk about?
Like housing. Like I know that you live like apart from it, but like how is it?
Um, like do you mean like living in the dorms or just
Yeah.
overall?
Yeah, overall. And like how do you do it? Especially since you don't live on campus.
Okay. So living on the dorms there, you just like apply through do your like school. So like, I like for UT, it was there, like there was a little slot for it for like filling out for your for housing. And if you don't know where to live, especially like in a big city like Austin, and where housing is like to live in Austin's really expensive. If you want to have like a nice place, you have to be willing to pay over like $1,000. That's so if you plan to live on the dorms, it's probably going to be expensive, but if you don't know where else to live or you can't find like a cheaper alternative, then it's okay like to live in the dorms. And it's going to be like community sharing. if you do want to have your own place, like the dorms are going to be charged, the school is going to be charging you more for that. But if there's also like student apartments, and so those are going to be sometimes a little cheaper, but again, it just depends like on the, sorry, it's my dog. She's on here and she's being really aggressive right now. I'm really sorry about that. Um, but if you have like student apartments, I don't know why she's being like this. If student apartments are sometimes going to be a little cheaper. I know like for like UT again, like there's Joby 21, and so that one's like paying, like they charge you $500 a month, and so that one again, it's also going to be like shared living, but at least you have a little bit more privacy in a sense because they're not following this like the rules as UT. Like it's not like it's still like general like housing guidelines, but it's like less lenient, I guess. And then if you actually want to live in an apartment, that one would take more searching and like actually maybe like contacting like different real estates, especially like they're like that are associated with campus. If you're going to be going with something like that the school like uses, it's probably going to be one of the more expensive ones. um
What do you,
but it's like,
can you talk about what you mean when you say shared living?
so it's going to be like you and like having a roommate, and the thing is it could be like like um like just two people in a single room. Like that's kind of how shared living is, and you would probably also be sharing a bathroom as well. Like because there's different housing options, especially like for the apartments as well. So the most common thing you're gonna find is where it's two people per room and you guys are sharing a restroom, and then you might have like a roommate, but then like you'll have like a suite mate, so you guys will have like a shared living space. So there's, and then on the other side of that house or apartment is going to be like two other people. And so if you like, most of the time it's going to be where you're going to need like more people to make it cheaper, because if you just want to have a like a private bedroom, a private restroom, you're going to be paying good money for that. And then for me, like I don't live on campus. I live on the outskirts of Austin, and so for me, like I go by taking the bus. So I drive to the bus station, and with UT, with our UTID, they actually pay for the bus. So I just like swipe my card and get on. And that it took a while for me to find out the route. Granted, it was just like a straight shot, but it was just knowing which one, especially like the valley has a bus. Like we have buses here, but it's not as like complex as Austin. Like there's different routes, there's different types of buses.
Do you want to talk about how before you came to campus, like maybe this time last year, you were faced with your housing decisions and kind of like what your thought process was as you were going through that?
Um, at the time I was really nervous because I didn't know, like me and my parents had like talked about it, like because first of all, getting into UT, they're like, oh, like we'll see what, like if it happens, then it happens. So it's just like, oh, actually like considering paying like the hefty price. And I thought about living in the dorms, but then I really started thinking about it, and at least with like a student apartment, you're not gonna have like a full kitchen, but you will have like more appliances. And so I like you start weighing those decisions like, okay, like now like I genuinely have to start cooking. And so that's like an effort like I started thinking that I had to make. Like, and so right away, like I started making like preparations. Like I was asking my tias and my abuela, like, okay, like how do I make certain meals? Because I'm gonna be in a place where I'm gonna have to really rely on myself. Because yeah, you can go eat out, but as like if you live on campus, there's not like there's restaurants there, but because they're like local, they're not chains, their prices are a little bit more expensive. Me and Aitza always joke about this, but it costs like $20 to if you
You dropped out. It cost $20 what?
oh like to breathe in Austin, because if you want to do like if you want to go eat or if you want to go somewhere, like it's probably going to cost you some money, especially like if you're a student, if you did not, and even like a UT part like the for parking, like the parking permit, that's also really expensive. But if you're just a student, you just you're just there on campus. If you want your meals, like if you want something different than just what's off there, like nearby, if there's like DoorDash and Uber Eats, but right away, like, it's gonna eat away at your pocket unless like you're ordering like a big meal. It's most of the time it's not worth it.
What about meal
So that's
plans?
how I was like,
Don't they have meal plans in the dining halls?
I didn't sign up for a meal plan, but my friend Anna did. But the thing is, she got tired of the food real quick. But I think because she's kind of a picky eater. Um, but they have meal plans there, and so there's different types of meal plans where you can just one of them is where it's the like every time you go in, like it's for the whole semester, I believe, and like they don't charge you any like you paid for it at the and so you can just go in whenever you want. And there's like smaller meal plans where like okay, you only have like 10 meals per semester, and you pay for that. I'm not too familiar with those because I didn't choose to, but one of my friend Anna, she signed up for it, and I think like she goes, but she doesn't go as often as she would like. But I think because she's a picky eater, she's not someone that's a big like she's not fan of like trying different things. So I was really surprised when we would go out to eat because it's always kind of like a big hassle with her. I think even for Silver, um, he's also kind of like a picky eater. So I don't even think he signed up for a meal plan. I don't think his he tries to cook for himself. He sends some pictures. It's a little
So your options are basically get a meal plan that's kind of like, glorified cafeteria,
yeah.
make your own food, but you might not have, if
Hmm.
you're living in the dorm, you don't have a stove, you don't have a full refrigerator, you don't have those things in the dorm.
Yeah.
Or like eat out, and
Yeah.
that's going to
That's
cost
why
you.
it's real easy like for you to like gain weight because like if you're like especially like if you decide to live in the dorms and like then I highly recommend you get the meal plan. It would be crazy for you not to get the meal plan if you lived in the dorms. But because like it's just right there and since you already paid for it, like a lot of people like will just go to eat because they're bored. Or like and then like you get tired of it, right? So then you order out and like okay, that's hurting your bank, but now like now I guess like you have a taste of like okay, I haven't had McDonald's in such a long time, and so real quick, that amount just adds up. And I'm not gonna lie, it was really scary. I was like freshman 15, please don't happen to me. Oh
There are other things you can do, like exercise for that. But I want to point out to everybody that you may not know this, but the prices of things at the places that you're used to going to in the valley may be different than the prices at those exact same places in other locations. For example, there's an
mhm.
HEB in Austin and there's an HEB in Weslaco. And maybe you're going to buy, let's just say a Lunchable. That might be $2.94 in Weslaco and $4.25 in Austin at the same HEB. Your Big Mac that you have might be different price in a different location because businesses think to their advantage. Well, the people here have more money, so they can spend it. So don't budget based on what you pay here if you're living somewhere else. If you're living somewhere else, you have to figure out what's the cost of living and how much do things cost there, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
All right, there's another question in the chat for you. It says, would you say living on campus is a must for freshmen?
Like especially like right now since everything's online, I don't think it's a must because even then with social media it's real easy to like just reach out and just like talk to people. Like that's all it really was, and especially when like classes started, um like you're gonna get into these a bunch of group chats for you to like study and everything, and so right away you're gonna be meeting people. And at least for right now, like most of the people that I like have come to know throughout the semester, most of them stayed home, and so like I don't feel like you're missing out on much. Like maybe like like the different utilities that you could be using like on campus, but most of the clubs have like transferred their stuff to like Zoom and everything. Like they'll have Zoom meetings. They don't really have anything in person. So that's all stuff that you can do like at home if you decide to stay home, or like if you did move to your college city, like you could still do that stuff from an apartment, you know?
Well, if you're outgoing. I mean,
Yeah.
you're pretty much like the guy who's going to walk in the room, make friends with everybody. But not everybody's like that, Joel. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
I feel
supposed
like
to go dye my hair with another girl later on.
if you think that you're going to have trouble making friends because you're kind of shy, then maybe dorm life would be good for you because there'll be structured things to do. They'll have activities where, okay, floor 2 is going to have a pajama party tonight, or, that kind of stuff is going to be organized. So maybe it depends a little bit on that too.
If you do like still plan to live on the dorms, the biggest thing, like I know for UT, they're like separating people. That's only gonna be one person for like dorm room, I believe. But if you do plan to live on the dorms, get to know who you're gonna like room with. If any way possible, you can communicate with them, or if it's gonna be someone from like that you like from the valley. If you can, try your best to get to know them, just so it makes it like easier. Um, because you are like this is someone you're gonna be living with. Like it's very like um it's very much different, it's you're gonna be getting used to each other's like actual like living habits, and so it's might as well like just start just trying best to get to know them. It's different, and it's really scary because people talk about this, like if your friends were to like if you and your friends were to live together, would you guys still be friends afterwards? Like it's very crazy because some of my friends have had like the roommate horror stories. Like my friend Anna, she lives in the dorms. Her roommate got COVID and she did not tell her for 2 days. And so she's like, I never noticed. Like she just went up to her and she's like, why didn't you leave? Like you haven't left like the room or anything. And she's like, oh yeah, like I have COVID. So can you just leave? And so Anna was kicked out of her room. And then another one of my friends, Carrie, um, what happened to her? She got in a fight because of BLM, I think. I think they didn't agree with her. And so like they kind of like trashed her stuff. Which is like, you know what? Like as much as we may not agree, I'm not gonna go over there to your side of the room and like mess up your stuff. Like if like some of these people, like that's why is if you can try best to get to know them. But if not, if you do go decide to live on campus or in an apartment, set your boundaries so that at least if you do end up living with that person, they at least respect your living space.
Okay, what other questions? Moral of the story, know who you're rooming with. Yeah, if you can. Sometimes
Yeah, if
you
you
sometimes
can.
you won't. But it's not scary. I want to say that probably 80% of the time it's fine. 90% of the time. And you also have an RA. There's a person who is, like a student at school, and they're like the resident, what's it called? They're the person you can go to if you're having trouble or you have questions. There's like a person in charge of the floor. So if you're having issues with somebody, you can always just go to them and they'll help resolve it. What else do you want them to talk about? There's lots of things.
How was
What
it like moving over there? Like the process, because I know that that's what I'm worried about, like cuz I want to leave, but I don't know how I'm
Mhm.
going to feel actually like in the process of leaving.
Um, I guess like for me personally, I wasn't that scared because like my parents they can drive over there, and so I knew like because I knew that they were gonna do that, they were gonna constantly make the effort to check up on me. But at first, like because of my dad's job, like he works nights and he's never really home. He's a truck driver. So I was like really like, okay, I'm kind of just gonna be making this move by myself because then it's my mom. Cause like like she's a teacher, so like she's been working too. And so I'm like, well, am I gonna like how is it gonna work and everything with family, especially my whole like my immediate family, we live the same 3 acres. We take up a whole street. I've lived with my family like all together for the longest time, and I was really scared about leaving them. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a little weird. It was a little weird when I first left because obviously like my mom doesn't cook breakfast. I go to my grandma's house to go cook to go eat breakfast, and we sit there as a family. It's my tias, my abuelos, my parents, and um some of my cousins that come over in the morning. Like a big environment right there, like right off the bat, early in the morning, and so it did feel off, but it's not something that I say that you can't like overcome. Some people do get homesick, and depending how far you go, like you may feel it even more, but I don't think it was a bad transition. It was just like something you just got kind of used to. But I don't know if that's because like I was also really looking forward to this move. I was like, it's Austin. Like I'm going like how I don't know. I saw it as a new chapter in my life. So I was like, it's okay. Like I'm like my parents did this. They when they left their hometowns, like they got to do this. I and they by themselves. I think I'll be okay. Um, I felt like I was ready enough to at least take care of myself. And with school, I was like, it's not like I can't like call someone. Like I can call someone and they'll probably talk me through it. If not, like it'll be okay. And I understand maybe not everyone has like family like that, but I feel like because of also the people that I was going to like my closest friends were going to Austin too. So I felt like because of that, I was felt like even secure. Like, okay, let's say my family can't come. I still have my friends that I can count on. They like were there for me like through the semester that really showed that like I was able to count on them. So it like made it easier. And then packing wise, I just took what I thought looked nice. And I was like, okay, oh, well, adapting for the weather. Adapting for the weather. I took what because I was like, I want to dress nicer, right? That was my so I chose what kind of clothes I wanted to take. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, let me actually pack for the area. And for there, like in Austin, it does get colder. At nights, I do have to bring out my little Mexican blanket because I get cold easily. And well, it's not that really that small. If you know what blankets I'm talking about, those things are humongous. And like also when I go out sometimes, like sometimes it'll be 30 degrees or I mean now that it's getting colder, it's be like 30 degrees at night. And so it's just making sure like, okay, like do I have like the actual like sweatpants with like I don't know, like pajama pants underneath. Like you have to make sure like you're ready for that, like or raincoats or like thicker jackets with like Sherpa in it, like just different stuff like that. Like you may think like, oh, because in the valley we used it, we brought it out when it got cold, right? Like, but 60 degrees, right? We're like, oh, it's a little chilly out here, right? No, it gets colder. Like it gets a lot colder in other places. In some places it snows, and I was like, I need to be ready for that. So, but it should be the other way around. You should be packing more for the weather for wherever you're gonna go, and then what you want to bring. But I flipped the script because again, I wanted to dress nicer. Um,
Okay. Any other questions? What else is on your mind? Did you still get the college experience, like going out and being involved with, even though COVID was going on, and all the regulations that you had to follow? Do you feel like you still got the college experience first semester?
um, that's like a yes and no. Like for the first part, I feel like I did miss out a lot of the freshman experience, especially like orientation. I was really sad orientation was online because that's a big thing. Like that's how you like meet different people like in your college and just like in just UT in general. And so when that became online, like that really like made me sad. I still got to meet people and talk to them, but it just wasn't the same like the in-person interaction. But afterwards, when like class actually started, um, I want to say that I did. Like even though like we have COVID and everything, I think it's as long as you're being COVID conscious and then as you're making friends and realizing that they're also like staying safe, you can still enjoy the different things um in college. You know, like the small study break the study groups and everything, like you could we so would sometimes meet like at different people's like places or like we would go in the library and like separated. If we're in the library we had to like space out, but if we were there and like at different people's houses, like our friends houses or apartments to be more exact, we would just be there and like help each other out. Like get to interact. Whatever you see on TikTok about like, oh, I miss these memories of like pre-COVID, like you can still do that same thing um with people. And like it just still going out and everything. I don't feel like yes, there's been restrictions, like there's not like as many things that I could do, especially like in Austin, since a lot of them have like of like small business have been closing, or like they really have been restricting like who can go in. But because of my college city, I feel like it still made it possible, especially like with UT being such a big campus. Like there's different places where you can just go and like explore. Like it's 40 acres. It's a lot. It's a lot. And what helped even more was that like since UT offers free COVID testing for students, faculty, and staff, and so like that was another way like to make sure that we were all being safe, and we kind of like all updated each other. Like we didn't have to, but it was just something because we were all COVID conscious, and we want to make sure that not just us but like the other people around us were okay. Like we still like we still had fun, you know. Like I'm sad that I didn't get to have that full like in-person experience with UT, but I don't want to say that my first semester was bad because I still enjoyed it. I still very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think either way, it's what you make of it, right? And how you adjust and adapt if you need to. Hopefully, when these kids start in the fall, things will be a little better, because we have the vaccine coming out. But I think there'll still be some residual effects. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else do you guys want to talk about? Do you want him to talk about some of his classes, interacting with professors, what that's like? I want to give this time, like I have things that I think you should know about, but I want them to be the things that you want to know about. But here's the other problem too, and we talked about this last year, Joel, remember in class, because Joel was in this independent studies class, and the year before that, he was in my dual class. So
Yeah.
we talked about this, that right now, there are things that you don't know, right? So how do you ask
Yeah.
somebody who's visiting a question? Because we had visitors last year too, come to class, and we had some Zoom calls and things. And, how do you know what to ask if you don't know what to ask, right? So do you want to talk
Yeah,
about interacting with professors and stuff?
yeah, it was really weird. Like, or it wasn't weird. It was just like you make the initiative, right? Because they're just always there. Like they give you their hours. They're just there. Some. It's really sad. Some of these professors just waiting for someone to come in, like, because I go to UT and because like I've been taking like just the core classes overall. One like my data science class had over 700 kids, and like so we're like it's big. It's kind of big, some of these classes, especially like since it's just like the Zoom lecture type of thing, so it's people just coming in. And out of those 700 kids, maybe like 30 kids show up for office hours. So like it's crazy, like they're just waiting for people to go in. So like it's not like you're not gonna be wait normally I feel like you wouldn't be waiting on like a long line of trying to get in contact with your professor, and just going in and I start off polite. I just like, and I introduce myself. I did it constantly, like, okay, hello, my name's Joel Ramos from your I don't know, I don't remember my class like numbers. And then I would type in the class number, and then I put in my UTE ID so like they can search me up if they can't remember the class number either. And then I would like state my question, and most of them were pretty fast. Like I feel like even though despite it being a big school, like the professors were real quick to respond. They were always real nice to me. Um, it was just kind of like easy to reach out, but you have to take the initiative on doing it. Um, and again, I felt like it felt weird because I thought I was the only one doing it. But when I actually showed up for office hours, I was like, oh, okay, oh my gosh, thank you, Jesus, because like I'm not the only one that's feeling this loss like me. Or if I had any questions, like I knew there wasn't anyone like there was other people that had like the same questions as you or were like still lost in certain things. And so I guess that's what made it a little bit better for me because I was like, okay, at least I know I'm not the only one, you know?
What were some things that triggered you to contact your instructor? Was it always just like clarification, or were there other reasons that you like initiated that contact with them?
It was clarification on assignments, like if I felt like the instructions weren't clear enough. And my astronomy professor commented about it one time. Like sometimes I feel like I don't think English was her first language. I think she's German because she has an accent too, and sometimes like her grammar was kind of off. And like I felt like I had the right idea, but then like I would come to like the group chats, or like she would put us into breakout rooms, and like it would be like two different things going on. So then I would like talk to her, or if I wasn't sure like about an assignment, like if I knew something was gonna be late, um Or if I knew like for a while, like my internet had gone down. I have no idea why, but it just went down in my area. And so like I just right away like told my professors like, okay, like this is kind of happening right now. I don't know when it'll be fixed, but I hope like you'll excuse me. And some of them were kind of strict because some of our assignments like they're like it's already automatic, like they'll drop your two lowest like homework grades. And so they're like, okay, well, if you fail to turn it in, like this is counting as your drop. And some of them, and then other professors were saying that no, it's fine, just let me know. I won't count any like late penalty. It was just depending kind of on the professor, because some of them already have like set rules. And it's very important you read your syllabus. Read your syllabus. They're gonna make quizzes about it, but you should read your syllabus. I did look back on the syllabus a lot because sometimes um I felt like I was lost in like what we were going over. And yeah, just go back to your syllabus. It's going to tell you what you're going to be looking at. Like most of the time for the week, they'll even adjust it. Some of them even were adjusting it as they went by. But like just to be able, like who you should be able to contact, when you should be able to go to office hours. And I don't know, it was very much important reminding you about like what are the grade cutoffs for your classes. Most of them put their so like the what's considered an A, or like the yeah, just with the different letter grades. Um, what else? I don't know. Read your
So
syllabus.
not
I
every
very much tell you.
instructor, so not every instructor says a 90 is an A. It could be a 93 in this class is an A and a 92 is a B or whatever. Like the different instructors get to set that.
Yeah, like and also for your passing grade. If a class is considered pass fail, and for some people, if a class is pass fail, then like your passing grade had to be an 80. If you like, it was kind of crazy. Granted, the class I guess should have been easy if it was already considered a pass fail. Oh, and a pass fail is like instead of by a letter grade, it's literally if you made the passing requirement, then you get the credit for it, but it doesn't affect your GPA. So even if you fail it, it shouldn't affect your GPA. I don't know if there's like a lot of classes like that, but that's something that UT is offering us to do with COVID. They're allowing us to pass fail certain classes. So like for my C that I got, I'm planning to pass fail that, and so like I'll boost my GPA. Like I'll get taken off my transcript just to pass fail or pass, and then it won't affect my. I'll get the credit for it, but then it won't affect my GPA, so my GPA should go up. So yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to open it up one last time for any other questions. If you all have a topic that you just wanted to discuss, or if you have a specific question, you can unmute or put it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll sort of wrap it up. With Zoom, you have to like wait, see if anybody's going to unmute, see if anybody's going to put anything in the chat. Like I'm a lot more, in class, it's sort of like, any questions? Okay, moving on. But in Zoom, you have to like give it a little bit.
I actually wanted to talk about something for like any of the kids that are in early college right now. Um, it makes a difference. It genuinely makes a difference. And I'm not like I'm telling you right now as someone who like um got I didn't get my associate's degree, but I did graduate with like 56 hours, and it made a big difference in like where I am right now. Like right now I finished my first semester. I'm considered a junior. I am 60% done with my degree, and it's crazy because I felt like it kind of helped me with like planning my classes out, and like kind of ease some of the stress of like my first semester. Like I took the bare minimum. I took 12 hours um in classes, and there's kids that are taking like over 18 hours because they didn't have like any like hours or like dual credit hours or like P credit. So like taking the 8 hours or more so they can finish their core curriculum and like to graduate like within the 4 years. And since I came in with the hours, like I personally feel like it made it easier. Considered a junior right now. I'm kind of taking my sweet time. I don't feel as stressed, and I'm really thankful. Oh, excuse me. I feel really thankful that I don't have to take the core curriculum, at least like for UT. Like I hear a lot of bad things about it. And if you plan to go to UT and or like just in college in general, always be bad. But like because it's core curriculum, I hear that it's just mainly treated like a weeder class. Like if like it's not really that much attention. Once you get to your actual major, I've started to see it like as I'm started slowly taking the upper level courses. It really does narrow down, especially like for a big school like UT, like it does narrow it down. Um, but if you do have early college credit, um, or if you do have AP credit, um, it makes a difference. And I genuinely feel like it'll help you out when you start your fall semester. And one thing to keep in mind for the kids who do have AP credit, you do have to pay um, for your credit to transfer, or like for the college, it goes by per credit hour, I think, and I think it's $20. I want to say it's $20, but I'm not sure. But for the kids who are like in early college, it just transfers for free, and your school is going to tell you what gets counted and what's not. I think overall, since I transferred 56 hours, I think 47 were counted. So even then, like I was like before the first semester even started, I was 47% done with my degree. No, I don't know. I was somewhere in the 40s, 42, I want to say. But it, I
Besides
don't know.
credit accrual, what are some other things that you think doing early college or doing advanced courses in high school might have helped you with besides just accruing credit?
I think it just genuinely helps me to be like kind of like a better student. I mean, for me, I think that like I kind of developed a like I think I have study habits because I felt like I worked out like pretty well this first semester. And so I think because I know the type of person I am, I'm not someone that's like the smartest. I know that um I have to work for what I want, for if I want to understand something, especially like proficiently. So like just like in high school, like just studying for like things that I was interested in, or like doing the AP and college credit classes, I feel like that really did help me. And like designing a study habit for myself that like I know that suited me because that's what I used this first semester, and kind of get me ready for like a little heavy workload. Because I will not lie, like um my like some of these classes felt like as easy as an elective class. One of my 8 a.m. we just kind of maybe read like 3 different articles, maybe that were like 2 pages long. It was not bad. And then maybe watch like 2 10-minute videos every week, and like that's not hard. And then all we did in class was like just discuss it. So like it was very easy. And then here comes like data science, and like that was coding. I was like, oh no, this is a whole different level. It's like you do have your range of courses, but because of like high school, I do believe that it did kind of help me out to like find the balance of like, okay, like really like you can definitely see like the difference between like what's your easier courses and what are your harder courses. But I felt because of like how I studied in high school, it kind of like made it easier for me to like manage my time. I do want to say like this is for the early college kids. I guess because I was in early college, like don't be nervous that you're gonna be transferring so many hours. If you're gonna be done with your associate's degree, or if you're gonna be almost done with it, um, there are gonna be classes like for your major that are gonna like be really easy. Like yes, you're gonna have like you already got done like the core curriculum and maybe even some like for your major, but there's still gonna be some classes that are gonna be relatively easy. So don't like psych yourself out that like, oh, I'm gonna just be going into like something really hard and I probably won't understand. Like, no, have faith in yourself. It's gonna be okay, and you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Like you're gonna come into that first semester and you're like, oh, okay, like yeah, like I know I can do this. It's manageable. It's very much manageable. Or at least that's how I felt, because that's what my friends that were in college the first semester were telling me. Like, or if I don't know if you guys even remember Glada or Daniel, like that's what they were telling me. And then I was like, no, I don't think I'll be able to do it. I don't think I'll be able to do it. And then here comes my first semester. I'm like, no, yeah, it was just like what they said. It was very much just like what they said.
Well, that's good. All right, I guess we'll wrap it up then. Is there anything else that you wanted to say, Joel?
Um, I don't know. Just I hope you guys finish your FAFSA. I know we're already in the second semester. I hope you guys finish your FAFSA. Um, another big thing, if you do plan to stay home, um, I really recommend that you do find a study place for yourself, because a lot of my friends that did stay home this first semester, and then you guys who are just like still here at home, like trying to finish your high school courses, you saw like how the interactions with like family and everything, and like if you were to set time aside for yourself, like to get schoolwork done. So this is it's a real big deal, because now you're gonna be taking it to college, right? And so if you are gonna be staying home, just make sure you do find a space for yourself to focus, because um it's gonna play. I genuinely feel like that, having that space where you can get work done, and like being talk like or communicate with your parents or your family, your relatives, like, okay, look, this is the time, like I'm gonna be having my classes, because it makes a difference. I remember coming home when I had my break, but I still, like, I had different tests that I needed to do when I came home. It was like Thanksgiving break, I think. I still had like some tests, and I come home, and then I didn't spend the day with my parents. Or my family, and I told them like, look, I'm gonna be working here. I'm gonna be doing this. Like, can you please not bother me? And as soon as like I'm like, it's like noon, and they come in, they're like, so you're really just gonna ignore us all day? I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I said what I needed to do, and so it did resolve in like a little argument. Ended with a small argument, but now they kind of understand, like, hey, like, I do need the space, and hopefully it kind of like works out well if you guys are going to be staying home. But if you aren't, if you're going to be leaving the valley, I really wish you guys the best of luck. Um i i don't know how many of y'all are going to be going to UT, but I'm on Twitter. If you guys ever have any questions, like, I am available. With Austin, like, if you really do need something, I will help you guys out to the best of my abilities. Austin is literally, it's 5 hours away, but I'm literally in the center of Texas. I have different, I can just go anywhere. I think it's crazy because for the weekend, we went to Baylor, hour and 30 minutes. We went to go pick up Amanda, me, Mateo, and Aitza, and we were at Baylor. And then we came back like all within a day. I can't imagine saying that from like coming from like Mercedes, like
Right.
the drive, crazy.
Why don't you put your Twitter handle in the chat so that anybody who wants to communicate with you, they can do it. We really appreciate you taking the time to come and, give us a little overview of college life, and, like, talk with everybody about answering their questions. And I know that, it's break for you. So we really appreciate you coming and kind of giving back to your school community. I know I appreciate it from your perspective. I'm too old now to imagine that I had the same college experience that my students are going to have. So I really appreciate having your voice in the mix.
Yeah, I'm really thankful that, like, I thought it would be so weird, like, me coming back, because like, oh, like, I was exactly in the same like shoes that they were. But I'm really like, if you honestly, like, if you guys need help, like, I'm here. If there's any questions that you were too nervous to ask in front of the class, like, I will be more than welcome to answer them on Twitter or on Instagram. It's the same at. And I'm just really thankful that you like thought of me and invited me here today, Mr. Ramos. It's really nice to be able to come back and like just talk.
Well, I'm glad you were open to trying it out. So I think everybody gained something from the experience. So thank you.
Yes.
I'm just going to wrap up and say that we're meeting on Monday. I do not have an assignment for you between now and Monday. So we'll go back to meeting at our normal time on Monday, and that's when we'll start talking about second semester. So I think that's it for today. Everybody's thanking you in the chat. They do that. They won't participate. They won't say a whole lot in class, but then when I say, okay, class is over, there'll be all these chats, and then they'll say, thank you, bye, or whatever, and that's it. But anyway, we really do appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out of the meeting, and I hope to see you all on Monday. Well, best of luck in your second semester at UT.
Thank you.
Wait, Miss,
Hopefully
can I speak to
Oh,
you
wait.
second
afterwards?
semester.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. If you need to talk to me, you can hang around. Bye.
okay. Bye.
What's up? Let me stop the recording.